So we just finished week 1 of No Spend January and got a couple thoughts. First thought for me is I didn't really realize how much of discipline is a mental game. It's not really about what you do externally, like that's kind of the behavior, but a lot of what you deal with, I think upwards of 90% of what you deal with is really up here, and just the mental fight that you have to work through. And so as we've had to practice not spending money all week aside from our necessities, it's been crazy to see how a lot of the temptation is really internally, like you know, even if you never say anything to anyone, like how so much of it is like internally, which is crazy. So yeah, what about you? What's your first thing?
Yeah, well, I think
I'm gonna grab Gia.
Okay,
you go ahead, keep talking though.
Okay, I think one of the things, kind of like what you said, is that this idea of like you don't have to believe everything you think. So you'll have these thoughts, and sometimes I think when you're denying yourself, like what this really is like a fast, you know, almost like a spending fast. And when you're basically putting yourself in a position where it's like just because you can doesn't mean you should or that you need to, it gives you clarity in so many other ways that is just really astounding. Like I've learned so much, so much this week. Like I could fill an encyclopedia with what I've learned, and it's just like, wow, it's really blowing my mind. But I think that main thing, like you're saying about the mental game, is just like, just because you think that way or you feel that way, you don't have to go with it. And when you say no to that, you really gain control. You gain so much control in a way that you're not just like tossed and, you know, kind of like anything you feel like just living on a whim. Like you just have a clarity, and it gives you so much, like, you're just like sharp. You know what I mean? You're just sharp in like a different way. And it's really like, I love feeling this way.
Yeah. I think something else for me is and it's probably a whole nother video, like you said, being able to fill up a whole encyclopedia of what you've learned. But I really see how, as a thinner person, just like literally how much of my comfort, my way of dealing with stress has been over food, like what I can taste. And so I think many times it's easy for us to look at people who are overweight, or to watch, you know, the crazy TV shows about the 800-pound man who can't get out of his house, and you're like, oh, that's ridiculous, how could you ever do that? But it's like, I'm like, yo, I'm that same dude on the inside. Like the lack of being able to cope well, or being able to buffet my body and to channel that stress, or to channel that disappointment or whatever emotion I'm dealing with into something else. I really see how over the years I've channeled that into food, and thus the spending money on eating out, or the spending money on, you know, the random runs to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, literally is from the inability to deal with things in a emotionally intelligent way. And that's super convicting for sure.
And so basically you're a 600-pound skinny man.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Bruh, you fat.
Just
fat.
Wow.
But yeah, no, but that's very real. It just shows you really how weak you are. Yeah. Like, for me, it's just like, really offer some food. It's like, you eat it and then it's gone. It's just like, I'm that frail of a human being. Like, really? Like, really?
Yeah.
And it's I can't even say. I can't even get my words out, because it's so ridiculous when you break it down. That it's like you really see the stronghold of it. Mm-hmm. You really see the captivity, the enslavement you put your own doggone self in.
That's good.
Your own self. Like, ain't nobody out here.
Yeah, ain't nobody forcing you to do nothing.
No one's forcing, no Trump, no Obama forcing me to do nothing. I did it to my own self. And it's just like, wow. That's real. Yeah. Offer some food?
Wow.
Because that's our thing, like, as far as spending money.
Yeah.
We're not out here, like, you know, clothes, shoes, purses. Like, we're not into that. But food, that was, like, our thing. And it's just like, No, go to the grocery store. Like, your food doesn't have to go bad because you out here having other people cook for you. And a big thing for me, an excuse I would use a lot is like, well, you know, you have to spend in time or money. That's a part of life. So I know, like, if I take the time to cook, you know, everything, then I'll also take the time to clean everything. I'll save that time by spending a little money to get the takeout food, especially if like it's a healthier thing we're eating. Then it's like, okay, cool. But what I've really come to see is like, actually you end up spending time and money, because the time it takes you to drive to pick it up, the time it takes for you to wait on them to prepare your food, because I'm not talking about fast food stuff. We wasn't on that fast food stuff. We was on like that good takeout food and stuff. And it's like, you know, the time it takes, you've deluded yourself thinking that it's really less time, because it's just about patience. It's just about patience of preparation and planning, and so much of discipline is preparation. You can't just in the moment, oh, let me do something real quick. Meal prep, meal plan, like beforehand. Like if it's Monday, you got to be thinking about Wednesday and Thursday. You can't just Monday for Monday.
Right.
You can't live like that.
That's good.
Man, this thing is kicking our butt, y'all. But we in here. Week 1 done. We will fight to see another day, another week, one day at a time.
Amen.
We doing it.
Amen.
I'm proud of you, bro.
Good job, sis.
Proud of you, fat man. Yo, fat self, just fat.
Pray for your boy, y'all. But listen,
Pray for your sis too, y'all.
godliness does not come without sacrifice or without any type of discipline. Literally, you know, to be successful in anything, man, like it's gonna cost you something. So.
Yeah.
So praise God for the blessing of being able to learn these lessons.
Yeah.
So,
and much better, real quick, much better for you to humble yourself than for life or God to have to humble you. So I'm glad that this is something, one thing we say in our trailer for Family for a Lifetime is about be proactive. Don't let life just happen to you.
Yeah.
Be proactive. Put yourself in a situation where you have to deny yourself. Don't make God have to deny you. Don't make life have to tell you no. Tell your own self no first. And that's what gives you muscles, emotional muscles, mental muscles to fight and face the challenges that life will bring in a more healthy way. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining our journey. Thanks for watching. God bless.
God bless you guys.